confrontation over what to do with the president's body?
Oh, the confrontation, that was one of the biggest things that happened at Parkland. That's what caused all of this, not allowing Texas law to be in place. Our pathologist should have done the autopsy at Parkland.
And he tried to.
And he tried to follow the Texas law. And the Secret Service, they looked like a herd of locusts, a phalanx around the coffin. And Mrs. Kennedy was in the middle with her left hand on the casket. And they were then coming out into the hall. And all of a sudden, there, our forensic pathologist stopped them. Dr. Earl Rose said, "Halt. This man has to have an autopsy here in the state of Texas. It'll only take 45 minutes." And they would not hear of it. They wanted to get that body out of Dallas.
Well, Dallas is a large city, and there are many gunshot wounds that come into Parkland Memorial Hospital on a regular basis. This is a normal sort of life for a hospital in a big city, and especially Texas, where a lot of people carry guns. And when they looked at President Kennedy and his throat, they immediately concurred that he had been hit by a shot fired from the front.
The Parkland Hospital doctors.
Are you equally comfortable, or are you not comfortable with the notion that there is forgery of some sort in the official documents of this?
I feel there probably is. I certainly could not be, held down to saying exactly how that is, or even approximately how it is, perhaps. But I feel that there has been some kind of attempt to cover up what was going on.
Front. Dallas clothing manufacturer Abraham Zapruder filmed the motorcade as it drove down Elm Street.
It was about halfway down there, I heard a shot. And he slumped to the side like this. Then I heard another shot or two. I couldn't say what it was, one or two. And I saw his head practically open up, all blood and everything. And I kept on shooting.
2 days after the assassination, Life magazine bought the infamous Zapruder film. Its moving images were not shown to the American public for 12 years.
Let's continue.
Let me show you, to my best recollection, what the wound looked like to me that day in Trauma Room 1.
Before each doctor looked at the photos, he described the wounds he had seen back in 1963.
I could see the president's head wound quite well, and I was probably looking into a wound that was on the lateral or the side part of the head and the back part of the head.
It would be this portion of the head right here.
As I remember, it's like this, that there was a big wound, big deficit in his skull and the temporal parietal area.
Now, here's what the Warren Commission in their autopsy, they claim the autopsy showed. A small little wound in the back of the head. Yet on the Mormon photo, as we go in, take a closer look, I did many years ago. Something very unusual you see here. Here's somebody else that has examined this.
Inconsistencies within, and the pristine Mary Moorman photograph allowed me to go in and actually measure the wound optically without image processing. As we go into the wound and as we expand the wound and magnify it, you can see that the pixel elements, or each one of these little dots, is represented by dark squares or light squares. Now, if there were no wound in the rear of President Kennedy's head, all of the squares would be the basic reflective value or the basic shade of gray that his normal hair coloring would be on this day. Every time, in my years of experience with this, when there is a concave or convex area that is a deformation of the overall image, there is absolutely no question that the case is, as it goes darker under this situation, that this is going from an area on the top of President Kennedy's head down into an extremely deep hole, because the entrance wound that supported this exit wound was fired from the right frontal area of President Kennedy, and it exited through the rear. Instead of trying to find shooters or guns,
I was beginning to see a face here. What really caught my eye was this upside down stripe here. I couldn't figure out what that could have been. So I was looking a little closer. So that's a little closer up of that image right here. As you can see, this is on the this is picked up on television as they zoomed in on the Mormon photo. This was in a book, double page enlargement. So you get the gist of it. I was looking there, and let's take him now. Here's some of the images I've extracted from that. How about a colorized version? I can find that one again. Well, anyways, here's an even more extreme close-up. Let me see if I move that in a little. Now, this is very curious that at that distance, I mean, it's picking up this